Hey guys, welcome to episode 0. I'm just here to give you a little world tour of my forever world. I think I will start to put a little bit more or make some videos on it in the future. I just thought that since I've been playing on it and it's been about a year now, I might as well share it with people. So here I am. So this is the first area that I settled in about a year ago. I had made this world around when the trial chambers and the autocrafter came out. So my goal was basically just to try and interact with the trial chambers and the armor trims and see what I could do with the crafters. But this here is the first building I made. Though one thing I should note is that I started this world with some challenge restrictions that I applied to myself. One of them was that I couldn't use an elytra, which is just a pretty normal rule that some people have, just to help them engage more with the transportation options. And the second one was that I couldn't craft diamond armor. I just had to find it in the world. And that's just something that I wanted to use to encourage myself to explore. This was the first building I made. I've since moved everything out, but I left all the chests here. Just a very simple little house. Wow, they're so cool in that. And the one thing I had fun with was making a little secret entrance to a basement, where if you just put an item, any item in that, it'll drop out the floor and lead you to the basement. This is where I had dug down. This was at one point just a staircase to a mine. I ended up running into a trial chamber by chance as well, going down this way. But yeah, and this is where I ended up keeping my first zombie villager and that I cured. But I've since just changed it to my LA storage, and I just put some chests when I was digging stuff out. Also, another place that I started mining down was just right around here. While there's still a torch through the floor. I'm gonna fix that actually. But yeah, I started digging down right here, and I found a skeleton spawner right down there. I had no idea that was there. I just picked a random seed as well. That definitely excited me because it was just barely close enough to activate it from the surface. I had to shave down 1 or 2 blocks of a hill here. So I wanted to build a house or build something right here, which is why my second building was so close to my first one, because I wanted it to be centered on the skeleton spawner. It's just barely such that if I get on 2 blocks, it turns off. I built this second building once I ran out of space for storage. And it was mostly just through the cobble and stone, which I had put in these chests. And I wanted to build this skeleton spawner so that it was automatic enough that I would still get XP. I achieved that by just putting dogs, because tamed wolves, if they kill things, they drop XP, and they automatically attack skeletons. And I put them on a dripstone. Oh my gosh, wait, I forgot about this. I could have made quite a bit of use out of that. But yeah, I put dripstone on it so that I didn't have to build it as tall and my building could be shorter. And then I put a bunch of hoppers everywhere, and a hopper minecart there picks up everything on the carpet. And that's where all the items go. And this also doubles as a trash compactor as well. You can just drop random stuff in there and it is gone. But most of the stuff I built in this area went underground. Though first I'll show you the rest of the stuff I have on the surface. I just have these starter... Actually, I'm going to get rid of these. Oh, there's chicken in here. Oh, wait, I just killed more than... There's only 1 sheep left. Okay, it's fine. I have a different sheep thing, so I'm just... Or a chicken thing, so I'm just going to get rid of all the chickens. I don't know precisely where the spawn chunks are, but I think they're very close. Just in that forest. And I don't know specifically how spawn chunks work, so I think that it might be close enough to have these guys be always loaded, which might be contributing to the lag all the time in this world, but... Okay, this is... Actually, I'll get to that later, but yeah, I just use this big area for farming wood, and this is where I got my bees started. But I can really get rid of these now. And the first place the place I fought my wither was over there. You can still see some craters. Just a little bit. Yeah, right over here. And I'm on low render distance because this area is very laggy, but I'm feeling a little better now that I killed those cows. Usually I have distant horizons on, but yeah. Here's the I think I fought two withers here. The second time, of course, gets a lot harder because suddenly the ground did not start flat. But yeah, there's a small item filter for the bones that get put in here. Everything else goes through here, and then the arrows get filtered out into the other thing, and everything else gets dropped onto a cactus. But the arrows go into here, and the bones crafted into bone blocks go into here. I don't need them, but they're there. And then this is my first sugarcane farm, um, which my plan was to potentially make all the walls into a sugarcane farm, but I had a better idea soon after. Yeah, so this is the big like central hub of the basement where it connects to the original building. And you can drop down here where there's the way to the beacon, and this is the place that I go to get deep slate and tough, but we have the skeleton spawner, which I really need to pretty up the walls of this, but then I have the honey farm and the honeycomb. I did like about half as many honeycomb. Oh, it's night, so it looks like these guys are pathing into each other, so you're just preventing them from going back into their hives, which is quite unlucky. Which probably makes it run slower, but it definitely runs fast enough because I do not need this much honeycomb, and I really don't need this much honey. But I have it, and it's a little bit scuffed over here. This is where you put in the shears, and I made this little staircase just to check on it. And it's really full. And yeah, this is where it gets auto-crafted into blocks. So right now we have nothing here. This is like an area that I hope to expand into a little bit. But then we have the dirty chicken farm. Something lava chicken. It's very simple. I think I looked up this design specifically, but it's very simple. I probably should have done it by myself. This actually might be contributing to the lag. But I want chicken. But I guess I don't need this much chicken. How are they getting out? Are they... Oh. I see. Okay, so this farm design sucks is what I'm understanding. I'm going to take that as a sign to get rid of it right now. Okay. So the chicken farm is dead. I feel like I might regret that later, but it's okay. So that's that direction. I'll save that one for last. This one was actually one of the later portions of the building that I did. Also, I think I can get rid of these at this point. Now. So this is a little storage silo. I think this place looks pretty cool. Blue themed. I think one goal that I had with this is that each area had like a color to it, because that one's got red, that one's got the kind of the same area as the copper. We got up here's the purple. So this one was blue, so I added water and the blue concrete because there isn't really a super good blue block other than just like lapis, concrete, wool, stuff like that. But the water is pretty nice. Although I guess I could do ice, but that's more of a light blue. So it's just a storage silo. It's got tons of chests for a specific item. All the way around. And then the overflows are back here. I wonder if any chickens got stuck in here. No, it's just the extras. So the signs right now were kind of temporary until I could fill out everything. And I didn't do these 3 walls because I planned to have a like a little hallway this way. And because of how the hallways work, they end up kind of encroaching on the space. And then we got the red area, which is my villager area, which honestly is kind of the ugliest part because I put all these buttons everywhere. The buttons are temporary because theoretically each of these will get filled in with a villager, which will have a trapdoor in every block nearly, and a workstation in every block nearly. So the iron golems, which are spawning in this iron farm, wouldn't be able to spawn there anyways. But yes, really cool thing about the crafters is that for farms like these, you don't have to have as much storage because you just compact everything. And the byproduct of the poppies gets turned right into bone blocks, even though I already have a ton of those, but it's better than just throwing it out. So here's the villager breeder, and I'm pretty sure the Endermen are just stuck in here. I didn't name tag them, but they just teleport in with a block, and I don't think they can place a block on the composter or any of the crops. So they're just stuck. They don't despawn because they have a block. I have an off switch, or an on switch, yeah. So it's currently turned off, but I just have a bunch in the back. This is a minecart input because you press this button, spits out a minecart, and this guy, Axe Murderer, kills them, and then we can cure them up. I've got a spot right here, which automatically brews the weakness potions. All I need to input is gunpowder and fermented spider eye. I press the button when this is on, and it'll spit out 3. And I just have a lot of space for villagers. And it goes right up to the water. This really kind of burnt me out of doing villagers because, man, they are so frustrating to get to move to the right spot, especially in a place this compact, like 1 block. I originally planned to have a second level underneath, which I think you can see down here. Yeah, like I built a lot of it down here. I wanted to have a second floor where I would have like a wheat, carrot, and potato farm, and like farmers, but that never came to be. And the last area, this is the area that I'm most happy with, and it's also, I'd never moved these chests out. It's all the stuff that I got. I feel like, actually, I don't even know what all this is such a random assortment of stuff. But yeah, so this is the Big Mama area. So this is a bamboo farm with allays using as the collection. Now, I think at this point I had started to get on a wave of not looking up tutorials for anything. I wanted to be able to figure things out myself. And though when I say that, I also should clarify that I've definitely seen a lot of tutorials and seen a lot of things. So it's not completely off the dome. I'm not inventing these things. I'm just remembering and recalling things mostly. But I knew how the flying machines worked, and I just set it up to have these guys get sent off. So this observer gets pushed out to powers the obsidian, which powers the piston, which gets it rolling. And it's on a 2 hopper clock, which makes it just really long. Like this one has to go like a certain number of times before this gets a single power. So about once every like maybe hour or something, this gets tripped and it breaks all the bamboo, and the allays all gets drawn to the note block down there, and they drop it. I should have stayed down there. They drop it into some water streams that's automatically crafts all of it into bamboo planks, which now I guess if I was just gonna free cam, I didn't need to drop down. Oh well. And the bamboo gets sent right here, which is partly why I had made so many Fletchers, because this was the first one that I made. So it was my primary way of getting emeralds, but also just having a bunch of wood for crafting, like chests and hoppers, is very useful. And then it keeps going. I got another one for sugarcane, which works in much the same way. And then I have another one for kelp, which is all underwater. And the kelp is slightly different because instead of going to a storage area, oh, I never blocked that up. Oh well. Instead of going into a storage area, it goes into these furnaces. And it gets crafted into the kelp blocks and gets sent all the way through here. All the way into this furnace array, as you can see. And the kelp goes into the fuel, and once it runs out of space, it goes down to these, where if I just have a, oh my god, this is where all the chickens were, right? God. Once the furnaces are all filled and the hoppers behind them, it goes down here, and These are just some smaller ones. If I just have a couple items, I don't want to waste a kelp, even though there should be no fear of that. Just pull the lever, and it keeps that rail powered. It goes around. And I have a lever below each of these to collect XP from them, which I probably should have done down there. I don't know if I did. Oh, I did, yeah. So it's constantly getting XP. So if I ever need a couple more levels, I just run over, pull a lever, smelt something, and take it out of this. Which is nice. Which is, I think, why I had removed the iron bars. Because you can see there's an iron bar. There used to be iron bars blocking them, but I removed them for the XP purposes. And it all gets put right down here. It's very quick. What are these? Like 16 furnaces, which is pretty nice. But yeah, I think that's about it for this area. At this point, I was like, man, I'm pretty much done with my progression. I want to start something big and spectacular. I went and set out to build in a different place, you can see with distant horizons. But first, I'll talk about these blocks. One thing about the challenge modifiers is that since I couldn't craft diamond armor, I also had the second challenge as well to get all my armor from different spots or different structures, and I named my armor after the structure that I got it out of, which was really fun. But after I finished all that stuff at my base, I wanted to build something big and new. And since I wasn't allowed to build elytras, and I'd never done this before, I decided to build a dolphin tunnel. Which, now that I built it, I don't think I'm going to do it again. For something especially this long distance. Because even with the dolphin tunnel and soul sand and soul speed, it's still pretty slow. Which is quite sad. I didn't even finish both sides of the tunnel. I have to hold to the left wall. But I wanted to do it because I had never done it before, so I did it. I think I'll probably do it for shorter distance stuff some more, but not for stuff that is this long. Because, man, dolphins are annoying. Also, it takes a lot of your food. But this is an area that I had picked out because I wanted to build, like, a castle, basically. So I picked some renewable resources to build my palette out of, though I still have some tough and deep slate. And I just want to build a big castle. Once I had built that, started building over there, I needed to show you this. So I decided to build a castle. And I didn't know where I was going to do it, so I built a block, and I built a little monument around it. First block of the new kingdom. And then I built a monument around the first building. That was the first building of the new kingdom. I thought this was really funny, by the way. All in the same day. But yeah. So after I started building over there, I got very discouraged because I didn't really know what I was doing. It was a very big task without a big plan. And I really wanted it to look good. And that kind of made me stop playing as much. And I took a 4-month break around then. But I eventually wanted to come back to playing Minecraft. And it was after like a couple updates had come out, like with spears and like craftable saddles and some other things that I don't really remember very well. So I kind of wanted to start over, like starting a new world. But I had made the Forever World specifically to not have to do that. So instead of just starting a new world, I left all my stuff behind and I flew far away. This was everything that was in my ender chest at the time. Then I just put it in a chest. And I wrote a book to myself. This is the day that I came back. You know, now just with the dates, since over there it said the 6th. What is that? Like June? I think it was more like a 6 or 7 month break. But anyways, I basically wrote a book about what I had done here. Today is February 4th, 2026. Trying to get back into Minecraft. Last I was on this world, I was working on a big castle, which really lost my interest. I'm going to venture off into the distance and start over. A new world, but on the same world. This area was made with a challenge rule. I can't craft diamond armor. I named every item with where I had found it. That is so poorly written, by the way. Anyways, I also didn't use an elytra, which convinced me to build the dolphin tunnel, though I stopped playing immediately after LMAO. I am very proud of this base. I had 8 deaths and 6.05 days played, which is a long time. So I set off and I picked a new spot, which is where I got all of this stuff. And that's where I've been playing since then. So let me take you there. All right. Back at the second settlement. Here we are. So let me tell you the story of this place. So I started here, and this is one time that I did break the no elytra rule, because the goal was to start over anyways. It wasn't like I was skipping something, so I used my elytra and a bunch of fireworks, and I just flew until I found a spot that I just wanted to stay. And this was the spot I picked. It definitely looked pretty different when I was first showing up here. But it had this natural overhang across the water, and that's where I've been playing for only like a month now. We can look at my statistics to see time played. Yeah, so a lot of hours in 1 month, basically 3 days. So what? Like 72 hours? Wow, is that embarrassing? If it's basically 28 days, it's an hour's 2.5 hours a day, which is kind of crazy. When I did start this, I only had a part-time job, so I was definitely spending quite a lot of time on this. So this is the first building that I did. Let me tell you about the challenge rules that I made. In fact, when I landed here, the first thing I wanted to do was to make a book so I could write them down, because I knew myself, and I felt that I was likely that I might not play this world again for a couple months, so I wanted to remember everything. So it's the second world, and these are the rules. This wasn't all the rules at first. I added a few in the couple days after I started it, but I basically discard half of iron, diamond, and food that I find, unless it was from a farm. And no mobile tool crafting. I have been doing it, though I haven't been thinking of it as a primary rule lately. I can't wear leggings except leather leggings, and I can't sleep in a bed outside of my base. And then I just started journaling about everything. So it turns out an inadvertent goal that I had was to make a journal of everything that I did, so that's instead of after coming back having not played this in quite a while, just having to try to recall the things that I was doing and like why I did things or what I was doing next, I would just have a book with exactly what I wanted to do next and how I did it. And it's just a really cool piece of history as well. But who put that there? Anyways, this was my first building. It was smaller than my other one, slightly different shapes. Honestly, very much similar though. I've definitely noticed that I've had the same kind of build scheme for most of my starter houses, just like pillars with like slight variations in the walls with windows, very rigid triangular roofs. So I think I'm gonna try to branch out from that in the future, but here we are. And I made the chest look slightly better than just stacking them, but it made me have to move out a lot faster. And I had made this to interact with like copper golems and spears, and especially horses and like mounts, because you could craft a saddle now. You didn't have to like find it or trade for it. So I found a horse pretty quick. He's not right here. He's across the water right now. But also, actually, I can tell you the story very like rigidly because of my journaling. So I just built a house and I went out testing with a spear. Right down here, before I terraformed, there was a little cave opening that was really awful, but I had to dig down and I found a slightly larger cave, which I used the spear in, and I discovered that they're really bad. At least the copper ones that I was using, because copper only does 2 damage. So fighting a skeleton means I have to hit him 10 times, which is just so much worse than a stone axe, just two tapping. And the reach was like really did not feel like it offset it, but I was still hopeful at the time uh, that maybe once I got better materials, it would be more worth it to use the spear. Um, and then I built the bridge over here because, to be honest, I didn't see this immediately. So I built something over there, and then I saw this. So I was like, okay, I immediately need to connect my base with that. So I built this nice bridge. This is where I started to run out of space because I was farming wood over here. So I made a list of all the buildings that I wanted to make in this little town area. And when I was mining, I found a double zombie spawner. Oh, and another thing, I I set my XP. I didn't set my XP to 0 when I started, so I had like something like 89 levels, uh, which I was thinking of setting like dying to reset levels or doing something like that, just to encourage me to actually use the double zombie spawner because I don't think I've ever really found a double zombie spawner naturally. There have been times where I've went out searching in like creative or spectator to pick a seed that I would play in for a double spawner. But I really wanted to do this, even though I had just built this skeleton XP farm with a dungeon, which those I just hate dungeon XP farms so much. But yeah, there's one over there, one over there. It's really slow. Even though there's two, it's double speed of extremely slow, so it's just slow anyways. But I made it, and I hope to decorate it sometime, but I had a specific idea for decorating it and like the entrance that's made it so that I kind of put it on the back burner for quite a long time. So then I upgraded this path after that, and I built this building, which is slightly different shape from this one, which was my goal, to make a different shape building. It's pretty much the same palette. At the time, this was my enchanting setup, but I since moved it. I did a cool thing with like pistons pushing the books up, which was a lot cooler than it was actually usable because it's quite annoying to have to step on a specific place to get the bookshelves to come up. But and then I got a small area to put storage, so I'll show you that. I put this nice section with the stuff with the walls, and over here, and all the way around this little pillar. It was definitely not as clean originally when I first was here. Obviously, I cleaned it up quite a bit. And then I have this little area. I had a different image in my head, but this is kind of close to how it was. And then I said I hired interns. So I had made 12 copper golems to try and sort my stuff. And this is where I learned that they're very stupid. Especially with the wiki helping me. They only remember 10 chests. So with this number of chests, they like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They'll search 10 and then they'll forget and go right back to the beginning. So if I put an item in like a copper chest in the middle and they pick it up and then they choose the wrong side, it's basically never going to get to the correct side. But yeah, I just removed them. I let them oxidize and put them in a chest. My original plan was to name them like 1 through 12, like they were numbers, but that did not come to fruition. Yes, so I thought this was going to be an entrance to like a big underground area, but I didn't want to just leave the river pretty much empty, so I decided to focus more on doing above ground stuff for now. I actually made the double spawner XP farm without decorating it because I had a plan to get to it and all that. This is when I actually first went to the nether, however many days into it, just to get soul sand for the farm. But then I got fortune and all this stuff, and then I think yeah, this is, oh boy. I went looking for a fortress and I found one because I had found looting on a spear first because I was trying to get looting. And spears can get looting just the same as swords can. So I was checking sword, spear, and enchanted book. And spear was the first one that got looting, so I put it on the spear and I'm like, oh, this will give me a great opportunity to use the new item. And I hate them. I think they're awful. I was trying to grind a fortress with it, and I ran out of food so quickly because I just kept getting hit by stuff. Because you can't use a shield while you're using a spear. And like I couldn't really reasonably use the charge attack because it doesn't really do all that much damage. And like for skeletons that were spawning, since they're like doing the little like backpedaling against you, you do less damage against them because it's like relative damage, not like absolute velocity. Like relative velocity, not absolute velocity, which is how they calculate the charge damage. Um, so it's just like worse than just using a sword pretty much all the time, is what I determined. And I did die twice in that because the first time I died was because I had accidentally hit a pigman with this because it turns out the left click actually is an AoE. It doesn't just hit what you're like aiming at, which is awesome. So I hit pigman, which like I didn't immediately die, but it made me take a lot more damage, and I ran out of food, and I wasn't playing good, and I just died. And the second time I died on the way because I didn't make a good path, and I was kind of panicking, didn't want to lose all my good stuff. So I was rushing with my horse. I had accidentally looked at an Enderman, and the pigmen were still angry, so I just died. Um, but I did end up getting my stuff back anyways. And I got 3 skulls in that first exhibition, and I vowed to never use spears again. Here's my rant. You can just read it if you like. So yeah, got blaze rods, 3 skulls, and I can clearly make a beacon, but iron is so expensive because I throw half of it out. That's won't be able to afford it, maybe. The idea I have is I want to make this area pretty nice. Probably some like pretty productive farms with like sheep and stuff and like stuff like that. But right now it's just a big circular area that Endermen are putting blocks in. And I want this path to go have a minecart rail down to the XP farm, which is why I haven't decorated it because I want to figure out how the rail is going to look before I decorate and build the entrance to that. But up here in this area, I just want to have these domes full of like semi-functional ecosystems. So for this, I have a little minecart rail picking up eggs, which I designed. I've definitely seen a like minecart unloader before, but I didn't look up a tutorial to remind myself. I just knew that you could use a detector rail and a comparator to tell if there's items in a hopper, and that's pretty much all I knew before this. And I designed this very compact thing. It's literally just 4 blocks. One of them is a piston to block. Let's see if it'll see. Once the rail comes over here, the comparator tells that there's items in it. It gets put into the hopper, and this is just a very simple thing to dispense everything. It gets pushed over to here. Oh my god, there's so many. So the chickens are in here, and once they grow up, they'll clip through the trapdoor, which is waterlogged, full of water. They'll swim up into the fox pen, where the foxes will kill them, which was, which is a very fun way to do this, I think. I built the chicken farm in the most inefficient way possible. Now, a problem I'm running into is that foxes actually pick up and eat stuff. So sometimes they've been eating the products, which makes it a lot less efficient. So I've been adding as many berries as possible in here as well, so that hopefully they just have their mouth full of berries most of the time. And my original plan when I sought out to do this was to give them like a sword with looting and like fire aspects, but I learned that they always prefer to replace items with food. So the first chicken they'll kill, they'll just pick up the chicken and it will stop working. I think that's still a good idea if I make it not like specifically how I did it. Like I could trap the foxes so they couldn't pick up the items, but they could still kill the chickens. But that would be for a different day. But all the drops go into here. And you can see there's a lot more berries coming in than chicken, which is pretty sad, unfortunately, but you know, that's how it goes. And then I have a couple other domes planned. I got a panda one because, and then I got a armadillo one, which just make the scoots. Mushroom one, which has no function. Just I found a mushroom island and now I want to make a mushroom little enclosure. And then I have a sniffer because those sniffers make items passively, and I can put some minecart rails under that. I had some other ideas for some ecosystems, but I decided not to do them because I just felt like it would be repeating stuff that I've already done, like at the other place, or that I want to do more efficiently, or just would be less interesting. But yeah. So that's my idea for this area. I guess I should show you the library. It's based off of a design that I in the last Minecraft world that I made for YouTube, but I didn't get to upload it for anything because I got bored of the world. And actually, now that I mention it, that world was intended to be a forever world, but I made the fatal error of putting mods on it. And the mods were so small. They were mods that some of them were ones that I had made myself, like the progression and enchantment tweaks mods. And then I also or added some mods that added like special blocks, like deep slate pillars, quartz, like stuff like that, like weird variations, like mossy deep slate stuff. I don't think I explained that well. I think it's called Stoneworks. Basically, that meant that I had to update mods myself whenever I wanted to play. And also, if a mod lost support in the future, like Stoneworks, I think one of the mods I was doing lost support, or maybe a data pack, then suddenly things were broken. And all of the builds that I had made were using these Stoneworks blocks. So when I decided that, like, okay, I'm just going to bite the bullet and like take off all the mods and just keep playing in the same world, my builds were all Swiss cheese, just missing all sorts of things. And I could have recovered in that world and like kept playing, but I really just felt like starting again. And this time I'm really committed to trying to make this a forever world, but we'll see how the world goes because it doesn't always work out. But this, I did build in that world. I just didn't upload it. And I made this very different block palette, and a little bit smaller. The block palette on the other world was like more similar to the house that I built with like the pink stuff. It's just a little museum. I have bookshelves where I'm going to start putting books in. This one's just empty books, and this will be actual books. And it's supposed to be a little place where I can put displays for stuff. Right now, I only have display of my first armor set, which is this stuff that I crafted. Um, I like to keep the first set of armor that I use with its same durability and everything. Um, I don't remember if I did it in the other settlement, but I did it for here too, or for here for sure. And then in the second floor, I just got the enchantment setup that I moved from the other smaller building. I think I'm gonna make this a potions area or something. I got some nice sorted chiseled bookshelves. And up here, I think I'm gonna change what I'm using this place for. I was gonna just map out the area, but I think I'm gonna do something different here. But for now, it's just mostly empty. I think now I'll talk about the future of the world. I just wanted to return to making some YouTube content just because, I mean, I'm playing the game pretty frequently and might as well just hit record and put it on the internet. Who knows if I keep doing it? Who knows if I even keep playing on the world? But yeah, here I am. And in the future of this world, I think I'm gonna keep doing the thing where I go out really far and start over. Because it was really fun to start over and have to do all this progression stuff. And then it was like really nostalgic, like going back to the original world and like looking at all the stuff that I'd done. It was just really fun, and I think I want to do it more. I think in the future, I kind of have a strategy for these future settlements where I'll have like the same kind of thing where I have different restrictions. Most of them are going to probably keep the no elytra rule, but I'll also have a goal that once I reach that goal, I'll be able to return to my other settlements and start using the stuff that they built, which is what I'm working towards now in this one. I didn't really have a goal before I started for like when I would return. But right now, I think I'm just gonna finish all the stuff that I've been like working on, and then I'm gonna probably start using the original settlements stuff, like with the furnace arrays and all that farming stuff, because I don't want to just give up on it. Because now that I've gone back, I have ideas for expansion and some things that I want to do that only really make sense to do there. So I'm definitely planning to go back, but first I want to finish this underground area. I want to finish the last few domes. I might want to build a few more buildings over in this area. I have an idea for something down here in the water, but I don't know if I'll get to it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. One thing I wanted to do in this episode 0 was before I finish the video, I just wanted to fight the Wither. It's not really that hard necessarily, but it's just something to do to make it so that this episode isn't just a nothing burger. Oh, I just had a great idea actually. First, I'm gonna kill the intruders. So, something I wanted to do is put the Wither in my base to fight him right now. I think this area is low risk enough that I'm going to actually do it. But we shall see if I live to regret this. I'm gonna set my spawn in the village area. Or maybe I'm just gonna set my spawn across the water. I think worst case, I'll just have to get more foxes. I don't think the polar bears, the pandas are going to die. I will miss Skippy and Stella, and man, I have to remember this guy's name. I don't want to look at it. I don't remember it. Elmer. Fuck. I can't believe it. I'm a fake gamer. Yeah, I'm just gonna put this guy in here. Maybe he'll help clear stuff out. But my cool idea actually was to get some wither roses. I can spawn all these chickens. And there's a good chance he's gonna kill those chickens. So I put these chickens out here just to get more eggs for the dome, but I think the dome has enough eggs. So I'm gonna release the chickens. I'm pretty sure there's a cave under this as well, so this might end very poorly actually, but we'll be fine. Yeah. Worst case I lose all my stuff. I don't really care. It'll be fine. Hey, buddy. Can you come down? Wow, this guy's helping so much more than I thought he would. I am planning to expand it upwards. Okay, that was pretty good. That was not too bad. Whoa, wait. Why is it placed down? Oh, I thought they just dropped wither roses. But I guess if they die on something that the wither rose can get placed on, it just places it instead. That's pretty cool. Oh my god, wait, I'm gonna die. I didn't even realize my health was so low. Alright, so thank you guys for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. And I think next time we will probably repair this and start working on the lower section, making this look pretty. And maybe going towards the actual XP farm, making that look nice as well. But thank you, and see you later.